The shot has nanobots in it that self-assemble. Plus, it has a snake venom payload. Plus, you are now blasting radiation like a cell tower, as well as shedding spike proteins to the family around you. Come on. I almost had a bingo there. Give me one more. One more conspiracy theory to do with the vaccine. Just one, and I would have got vaccine conspiracy theory bingo, damn it. But honestly, like, nanobots that self-assemble, way beyond our current tech. Snake venom payload, for what reason though? Like, depending on the snake venom, that would just be fatal, but like, it wouldn't be like you die in 2 years' time fatal. It would be you die within the next few days fatal. Blasting radiation, again, like, radiation, especially if you're blasting it, is fatal in high doses. So, and anybody that actually knows what spike proteins are or how they work knows that you don't shed them. That was just a made up thing from years ago that's somehow still being perpetuated. I don't understand how, but like, multiple things here stated would kill you, but not in the long term, in the short term. And it hasn't happened yet. And it isn't happening, and I just don't understand what they think anyone would gain from making vaccines that kill people. Special thank you to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel and supporting my content. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be returning to r/vaxxhappened, a subreddit dedicated to people making up stuff about vaccines, anti-vaxxers being insane, all of that kind of thing. You guys already know what it is. Before we begin, I have a couple of things I wanted to mention. The first thing I wanted to mention is that I will be streaming in 2 hours as of this video going live, so go check that out. Me and Leo will probably be playing Minecraft again, so go check out the stream. The second thing I wanted to mention is that Leo actually has a channel now. In Saturday's video coming, we will be talking a bit more in depth about it, but Leo has a channel on both YouTube and TikTok where he posts info about fish and sharks and things. He does art and various things like that. And he's setting up an Etsy, or I think it's set up an Etsy.
It's set up, but there is no listings. The listings will be coming on the 30th of July.
Okay, 30th of July, he'll be listing stuff on his Etsy. He's going to be selling like shark stickers and stuff. So
I've drawn them all.
He has drawn them all. So yeah, go check out, I'll put the links in the description to his channel. Now let's get into the subreddit, shall we? Childhood vaccines. While children in the 50s received only 5 doses of vaccines by 2019, the number had risen to 72, and the trend is rising. Each vaccination has an impact on the microbiome, which likely leads to significant long-term physical and psychological consequences. Look at this 1950s beach pic. Everyone fit as a fiddle. No keto, vegan or paleo diets, no gym memberships, no fancy fitness tech or wellness influencers. They also weren't drinking protein shakes or counting calories. See what went wrong? Okay, I really need to break this one down into every single fundamental aspect of the fact, okay? So first of all, obviously, he's blaming obesity rates on the vaccine? What? I mean, no. Obviously no. But he mentions no keto, vegan, or paleo diets, no gym memberships, no fancy fitness techs. Like, everything he mentioned here is incorrect. So we're gonna break that down real quick. So he said no keto diets in the 1950s, okay? The ketogenic diet was introduced by modern physicians as a treatment for epilepsy in the 1920s. So the keto diet had existed for 30 years prior, originally as a treatment for epilepsy, though I'm pretty sure that didn't work. Safe to say in 30 years it would have made its way over into like diet fads, because people did care about their weight and have cared about their weight for a long time. And then he said no veganism. Well, the first vegan society in the United States was founded in 1948, 2 years before the 1950s began, so there were in fact vegans, and that's only when the vegan society was founded. Obviously, for the vegan society to be founded, there needed to be vegans. And then we had no gyms, and the Boston Young Men's Christian Union claims to be America's first gym. The YMCA's first organized in Boston in 1851. 1851, and a smaller branch opened in Rankersville in 1852. So yeah, there had been public gyms for 100 years prior to the 1950s, so that one's a moot point. And finally, he mentions protein powders. 1950s, protein powder as we know it was born. Bodybuilder and scientist Irvin Johnson, who changed his name to Rio Blair after a spiritualist told him he'd have more luck if his name contained more R's, developed the first dissolvable protein in the early 1950s. So every single one of these is wrong. Every single one. I missed the final point in recording that was calorie counting, and I just had to point out that this was something I had saved. I just forgot to read out in the video. The first book under the title Diet and Health with Key to Calories was published in 1922 and was popular from 1922 until 1926. So approximately 30 years before the 1950s. If you want to look at real causes for, increases in things like dangerous weights, because there's a level of obesity that goes beyond health, okay? You can be overweight and healthy. There are plenty of people that are fairly large but exercise and are healthy. I would say I'm quite large, but I wouldn't say that I am unhealthy. But you do get legitimate health concerns that can appear from being very overweight. But I wouldn't say that vaccines are causing that. I would say it's probably got a lot to do with modern lifestyles. The majority of modern jobs now are sedentary, residing in offices, sat in office chairs in front of computers for large periods of time. The majority of entertainment is now found indoors, whether it's TV or movies, streaming services, social media. We just have a very sedentary lifestyle. So the reason things like gyms have become more popular is because people do want to do more active stuff. But gyms did already exist, they're just more popular now because more people have access to them. But it's got nothing to do with vaccines. Nothing at all. Remember when we all died from being unvaccinated? This is probably the perfect response to that. It's just a picture of the survivor bias. Unfortunately, Tim Young either won't understand or will deliberately refuse to understand something like this if he even sees it. But it's kind of the perfect example, really, of, yeah, I mean, survivors are going to say, I didn't die, but what about those millions that did? The recorded millions that did. Happy to be mRNA free. You've got plenty of mRNA in your body. If I do, it is not by consent. You don't know what mRNA is, do you?
What the
right? I mean, obviously it's safe to say that an anti-vaxxer hasn't done research into basic things like what mRNA is, but it's kind of an important part of being alive. Like, I've been helping Leo with revision and stuff, and one of the things in his revision for his university marine ecology degree is looking into different parts of biology and that kind of thing, and he had to write down and learn and memorize what mRNA was and what DNA was, and then what each part of them were. And it's very safe to say that it is found in just about every life form. Like, no human is mRNA free, unless perhaps they've been dead for a few hundred years.
You'd be surprised. Fossil records have mRNA, so...
Wow. It hangs around that long. Yeah. There you go. So, but vaccines have caused mRNA. They'll probably say something along the lines of, it's spike protein shedding that has shed to those fossils to make us think that they have mRNA. Like, it's not a hard thing to research before you spout uneducated opinions. Like, anybody can find out what mRNA is and what it does. This is really the level of intellect we're struggling against. C equals 3, O equals 15, R equals 18, O equals 15, N equals 14, A equals 1, 6 plus 66. Still want that vaccine? But... Okay, so first of all, the equation you've given here would actually mean 6 equals 66. It wouldn't equal 666. Basic math here. You've given an equation. But also, if Corona is 666 or the devil, which, by the way, 666 isn't the number of the beast. I've talked about this before. It's 616. But if 666 was the number of the beast and Corona was 666, then surely a vaccine giving you immunity and protection against Corona would be giving giving you immunity and protection against the devil, not for the devil. But this really is the intellect we're working with. It really is. Oh, it equals 666. We got him. That's how we know. It's so stupid. Park Soo-ryun, Disney Plus star, dead at 29 after alleged fall down the stairs. She was fully vaccinated. What does her being vaccinated have to do with her falling down the stairs? Anti-vaxxers will really capitalize on any tragedy right? A Disney Plus star has died from falling down the stairs. That's a really sad and unfortunate accident. Accidents happen. Her being vaccinated doesn't make her any more or less likely to die from falling down the stairs, though. They'll really latch onto anything. Anti-vaxxers will latch on to absolutely anything to try and push their agenda, Who would you rather take health advice from? Between a doctor, a conspiracy theorist, and a podcaster? The doctor, obviously. Like, WTF? How is this controversial? People should be able to make a distinction between science and medicine. Medicine is a science too, though. Medical science. Medicine is not science. I mean, obviously, we know that conservatives are the kings of projection, so it's not surprising that when their medicine is not grounded in science and they do not believe in any scientifically backed medical procedures, that they might project the idea that medicine isn't science. But medicine is science. It's just that their medicine isn't science. Also, this whole thing that's like, who would you rather take medical health advice from, a scientist or these two guys? There's a video that was circulating recently of, is it JFK Jr., I think? He could barely do 5 push-ups. He's like jacked and he could barely do 5 push-ups. Like, it's safe to say this guy is roided up to the max. Like, he has not gotten to that level of musculature based on purely his health alone. He is not a healthy man. I can do more push-ups than him and I don't work out. Like, yeah, I'd rather take advice from the scientist, but also, like, let's look at this. We have a scientist, especially one that's probably been overworked over the pandemic for a variety of reasons. Scientists and doctors are massively overworked at the moment, so it's safe to say he's probably got a lot less time to go to the gym and exercise than he would like, versus a guy who spends all day exercising and going to the gym and pushing conspiracy theories. Like, yeah, he's probably going to be more muscly by the fact that he has a lot more time to exercise. That doesn't mean he knows more about being healthy, though. Exactly. That's why vaxxers always say, I was vaccinated and I'm fine. And all of us who actually look into the vaccines laugh and laugh. By looked into, I assume you're a doctor with a PhD in immunology and you have a lab where you research, or are you the couch and half an hour of Googling things I agree with is research type? Yeah, and also all the vaxxed people saying I was vaccinated and I'm fine, it's because we're all fine. Like, I know we talked about survivor bias earlier, but like when you compare the statistics of millions have died from COVID to not millions have died from vaccines, and also drastically less people have died from COVID since the vaccine started rolling out, it's no longer survivor bias, it's statistics. Smoked some weed with a Pfizer vaccinated person. My boyfriend and I feel like today. He's a lot more tired than usual, and now my boobs hurt. I feel like I might get my period again. I would feel like this was a placebo, but I literally can't force myself to get my period. Is there any way to become immune to shedding? Because apparently magnets are being stuck to non-vaccinated people now. Is there some time in the... I think I was meant to say something in the meat. I know that sounds weird, but they could be doing something to the meat we're eating. Maybe I'm just paranoid. So you're feeling like shit after smoking weed, which couldn't possibly be correlated to the fact that you were smoking weed? But also, there's so much stuff. I'm pretty sure people can't force their periods to just happen. Can people just be like, I'm just gonna get my period over and done with and have it now? I mean, obviously I don't have periods, but I feel like I would have heard of people being able to do that if that was a thing, right? But on top of that, again, vaccines don't shed. There is no shedding. There is no needing to be immune to shedding. And they bring up the magnets thing. The magnets thing that was so heavily debunked, so blatantly wrong. But for a second, if we pretend that vaccines were causing magnets to stick to people, it would have been due to something magnetic magnetic in the vaccine, right? A ferrous metal, iron, or something like that in the vaccine, which makes it magnetic. Assuming that there was something in the vaccine that made it magnetic, how would that be shed to a person? How would that be transferred to someone without it being injected into them to make them magnetic? It makes even less sense than a vaccine being magnetic in the first place. But sure, it must be because they're putting something in the meat. Oh man, r/conspiracy. This is a wild one, even for r/conspiracy. Like, based on the fact that it's gotten 0 upvotes, not even conspiracy likes this one. Another horrifying collapse caught on a security camera. They are murdering you. Readers added some context they thought people might want to know. This is definitely a horrifying collapse. However, the tweet author's page is dedicated to the topic of sudden death due to COVID-19 vaccines. The man in the video, Shayna Macaulay, suffered a seizure and has not received a COVID-19 vaccine. He is alive and recovering. So that comboed with also Stu Peters posting, "They are murdering you," followed by Shayna Macaulay at Real Stu Peters. "Hey asshat, I am the one who had the seizure. This is my video first of all. Secondly, do some research. I am unvaxxed, if that's what you were referring to. Retweet this to your followers, set the record straight." Now, Shayna, the flaw here is that you expect either Lied Suddenly or Stu Peters to have done any amount of research, okay? They're allergic to research. Why do you think that they post COVID conspiracies? Died Suddenly is a Twitter page dedicated to posting people who have died of unrelated causes and claiming it's COVID related. Of course they're going to post your video, claim you've died, and claim it's because you're vaccinated. They don't know how to research. They've not done a minute of research in their entire lives. Honestly though, Lied Suddenly. That was the last post, I've just realized. So thank you for watching everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. Can you tell that subjects like this make me frustrated? If you want to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click on that join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. As I mentioned at the start of this video, go check out Leo's channel. The link will be in the description, and I'll probably put an on-screen card or something. So go check that out, and also check out his Etsy. Special thank you to all of the YouTube members and patrons that do support the channel. All of you are incredible, wonderful, amazing people, and it means the world, so thank you. Other than that, thank you so much for watching everybody. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.